Welcome to Acquaintance Podcast. There's a couple of good guys, virtue signaling their life away. The first piece of news. Diablo fans call Diablo Immortal a reskin to a free-to-play mobile game. So, if you guys haven't already heard the news, Blizzard had this huge announcement. They were like, we have huge Diablo news coming at BlizzCon. Right, guys? Then, right before BlizzCon, they were like, hey, guys, temper your excitement because, you might be a little disappointed. They pretty much told us, like, you guys are going to be disappointed.
Right. They told everyone weeks before not to expect Diablo 4.
Yeah. So, I did not expect them to drop a mobile game on us and to act like it was, like, the next fucking big Diablo news. Because...
Alright, so... if I'm allowed to interject really quick.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
I hate this because I think it's an unnecessary predecessor to try and get excitement for Diablo 4. Like, Diablo 3, one of the biggest selling games, Diablo 2, I bought a copy, like, last week to play with my friends again.
Just to put in perspective, Diablo 3 was the most pre-ordered game of all time.
Exactly. It's unnecessary to have... And that's what I think this is. I think this is just a strategy to try and get hype for 4, which I think is entirely unnecessary.
That's definitely an interesting way to think about it, and I could definitely see how it could be that way too, because it's definitely targeted towards the Chinese market, because mobile gaming is huge in the Chinese market. Diablo is popular in the Chinese market, even though it's censored versions of it. So Diablo on mobile would be a good way for them to increase any sort of name recognition and hype within that market.
That is true, but at the same time, I think I would struggle trying to find a gamer who doesn't recognize the brand Diablo.
Yeah, definitely true. It's more of like an expansion, I think, is what they're trying to use this as. They're not trying to hit gamers with this. Let's be honest.
They might be doing what Fallout 4 did by releasing, like, what's the Fallout Vault?
There's Vault
Boy pick tech thing. I know what you mean.
The vault building game. I forget the name of it, but it could be like
Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter. They might be doing a similar thing to that, where they're trying to release like a mobile game to build the hype, but then give the fans some sort of like a little taster.
Yeah.
Just to like keep the fans there, and then when they release it, they'll still have the fan base. But I think they did this improperly, because they came out like almost full guns blazing, like, I hope you're ready for hyped for BlizzCon, and then like, I don't know if anyone's watched the BlizzCon stream, but when they fully showed this and they're like, oh, it's a mobile game, it was like a unanimous boo.
Yeah.
When they said it's not coming to PC, and like, it just killed the whole Diablo show right there.
Yeah, I definitely did. I think it was more. I think the big issue was how they presented it, how the whole announcement and everything went.
Yeah, they announced it like it was this next big thing, and they had to know people were not looking forward to something like that, dude.
Not their hardcore fan base.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, though, if you see their faces on stage, they seem ever so surprised when they get booed off of it. It's like they themselves believed it was going to be the next big thing, and they like got this big shock when nobody wanted it.
I would say, and I could be completely off, but I think that's more of just shock at booing in general. Like, I mean, these are developers that are forced to go up on stage and present something. And I don't know if they expected it or what, but it's like they have to take the harsh upfront of whatever choices have been made by the company as a whole. So I don't know if it was that they weren't expecting it or they're just like they get thrown into a tough situation.
In my opinion, this whole thing, like, this is the thing. They are obviously making Diablo 4. They're obviously making the remaster of Diablo 2. It's happening for sure. They are not stupid. They're not going to leave money on the table. They know that there's a market for it. The thing is that, do they have two things? Do they have a market large enough that will make enough money that when Diablo 4 does release, that it'll sell well? And do they have a game created and worked on that is worthy of the title of Diablo 4 right now? And obviously the answer is no. They don't have a game that is worthy of the title Diablo 4, so they're not talking about it yet. They're working on it. They're trying to make the next big thing. And I don't think enough people love Diablo as much as they love Overwatch, StarCraft, and Warcraft. Definitely Warcraft. But those other three games, I think, as far as fandom size, I think Diablo's kind of on the lower end of it. And so all these little things like the Netflix show that they're doing and this mobile game, these are all little things that'll gauge interest with people. And the one thing is, like, the Chinese market is insane, dude. This is meant for the Chinese market, for sure. That's what a lot of people were upset about. It's like, this isn't for us. You know, we're PC players of D1, D2, and D3, and you guys made this game for the Chinese market. And they passed it off like, hey guys, check out this amazing thing that you're all gonna love. So they're obviously out of touch when it comes to that. That's their mistake. Their mistake was presenting this as something amazing when we weren't going to give a shit about it at all. Like, they're out of touch with that. But I feel like the anger towards Blizzard right now is a little too ridiculous. You know, they're making those games for you guys. It's just going to come later on in life.
I would say, and to jump into what Ruza is saying in chat and Ty is, I think the fact one is Blizzard didn't specifically develop this game. NetEase developed this game. It's a Chinese company. They developed it with Blizzard. And to address directly what Polygon's title is here, Diablo fans are accusing it to be a reskin of NetEase's other games. Blizzard has commented on these questions, and they said specifically that Blizzard worked with NetEase to make Diablo Immortal from the ground up. So they've directly addressed people calling it a reskin and said it's not. Believe them or not, that's up to everyone else to decide. But Blizzard has directly said it's not. It was built from the ground up. People were claiming it's a reskin because of the interface, which is the interface that all of these mobile games have. It's the exact same with every single mobile game that's this type of game. But I think the reason that there wasn't any sort of announcement from BlizzCon about a D2 remaster or a D1 remake or any new characters for D3 is it looks like they're not doing any of that. If they were doing any of it, they should have announced it at BlizzCon. So I think that they didn't, and this is all we got, is a sign that they aren't doing a D2 remaster. They're not going to be making any more new classes for D3. Their Diablo department is probably only hardcore working on whatever the next big thing is.
Yeah.
This Diablo game, they did not take resources away from whatever the main Diablo core developers are working on. This was by NetEase. Blizzard just helped them make it.
Yeah. The announcement was in poor taste. That's all it was.
The announcement was bad.
Yeah.
Like, we saw at E3, Todd Howard announced their mobile game. It was, some Elder Scrolls mobile game. First person
Elder Scrolls
action.
Legends or something?
Yeah, and that was their mobile game. I didn't see anybody get crazy mad about that.
Yeah, well,
didn't want it, but Bethesda had more to offer, even if it was barely anything. They showed a splash screen of of the next Elder Scrolls. And I think that in itself was enough for people not to get mad.
Yeah, but you also have to look that, not Bethesda, Bethesda is more of a reputable company compared to like Blizzard. Like Blizzard has its reputation, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
Blizzard's known for outputting very high quality, like good finished products
Mhm.
with like huge cinematics, like millions of dollars of advertising, and then they give you a mobile game. And like it's like, why are you wasting our time? Like, why even show this, period?
Mhm.
Bethesda, the way they do it, like the only thing you expect from Bethesda is their next big multiplayer game, and you know for a fact every time they go to any sort of like con, you know that they're going to bring something to show or currently show their
Mhm.
big game or their upcoming big game, and then they only tack on like, oh, Skyrim for the Switch, Skyrim for the mobile, like whatever.
Right.
Nobody cares about that.
Yeah. This is a side project, and it should have been a side announcement.
Yeah, it shouldn't
Yeah.
have taken
Yeah,
main
absolutely.
stage. Dude, they had the Diablo logo in the back, but a room filled with people like, oh my god, this is it, dude. They're gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it.
Whoever made the decisions of how their presentation was going to go should be fired.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't think it's so much that the issue isn't so much that they're making a Diablo mobile game that's sort of like a side story. It's a side project. I don't think that's really the issue. The issue
No, the
is
issue is. Sorry, go ahead.
the issue really is just how they presented it and how they acted about it.
Yeah.
Like the issue is they like allowed that like glimmer of hope of, oh my god, it's gonna be Diablo 4, and then they were introduced to just another mobile game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like the same thing that happened with Valve's card game. I don't even remember what it was, but they announced it like it was gonna be big,
Artifact.
and then yeah, it was just some shitty Dota 2 card game that
Yeah.
nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, no one asked for it. They just made it, and it happened. You know. But
Yeah.
Similar to this, nobody asked for this, but they're gonna make it because there's a huge market they can capitalize on.
Yeah, which is fine, dude. Do that, but it's just the way they announced it. And last year we got nothing for Diablos, literally zero announcement. And so this year they hyped it up before, and then they sent out that letter saying like, "Hey, temper your excitement." It's like, dude, you're the one that got us excited in the first place. You know?
Yeah, I think they were just really off base with how I guess they really expected people to be excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just overall it was just a bad move.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the end of Diablo. Like, if you go to the Diablo
oh my
subreddit,
god! So you look at Reddit, just
oh my
all
God,
over Reddit
the
on the
Diablo
gaming forum.
subreddit, dude.
Oh my
Have
god!
you seen Reddit?
People
Even
are
the far
saying-
avoid Reddit.
People are saying Diablo is over. Never buying a Diablo game
Dude,
again.
people on the
just
Path of
because of this.
Exile subreddit, the top post is "Welcome all D3 players." Like, dude, relax,
God.
relax, dude.
I'll say this, and because I always will make fun of people who are so thin-skinned and easily offended, is hardcore fans of any gaming IP are some of the worst pathetic fucks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
there.
Like I'm a
Kinda
I'm a
like
hardcore fan
furries.
of like exactly.
Like they are so thin-skinned, and it's funny too because there are also some of the people that like to be really anti-PC. I'll be anti-PC, but these people, there's so many comments on Reddit about this is a slap in the face. Blizzard directly insulted me with this.
Oh my God, yeah,
Get the
so
fuck
much,
over
so
yourself,
much
little
victimization,
child.
dude. Yeah,
Like it's a game company that they produce games. That's what they do. This is a side project. Who cares if you're insulted? Why are you insulted?
I'm personally attacked.
Right? It's like,
I'm
how do you feel
uninstalling
personally
WoW.
attacked? Like, get over it. Just don't play the game. Wait for the next big one. It was 12 years between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3.
yeah,
Like, we know it's gonna probably be a while till Diablo 4.
yeah, and
We would
Oh, yeah,
like more
sure.
transparency. We would love more transparency or any information. I would be happy with just an art book.
Yeah, at this point, just be glad it isn't Valve.
yeah,
Right.
Glad they made the FOD.
That's the other
So-
thing with today's, like, just the way things are. nowadays with today's market. We expect sequels to come out real quick. We expect them to work really hard and make a better game. But it's like, dude, it's not gonna be easy to make. It wasn't easy to make Diablo 3, dude. Diablo 2 was so fucking good.
And Diablo 3 launched horribly.
Horribly, terribly.
Yeah.
The game's not even the same game that it was in launch. It's not even any like a few things are the same. Everything else is so different, dude.
Yeah.
So I feel like people just need to wait, man. Just be patient.
Again,
It's gonna come.
It's exactly like you say it is. People have become too like romanticized the idea of, oh, I've got this game, so this game will come out in like a year because that's what Call of Duty and Battlefield and all those sorts of genre games do.
Yep.
And that's just not a thing that happens if you want to make a good, like, polished game.
Exactly. It's funny too because with the Call of Duty stuff is people make fun of Activision and Ubisoft and all of them that do the yearly games. But then they're like, why isn't this game that I really want out yet? It's been 2 years. It's like, but then you go and you bash the yearly cycles of shitty games that constantly come out.
Exactly.
It's because it's a yearly cycle.
And
like even with Activision's Call of Duty, like those companies, the development studios that actually make the Call of Duty games have like 3 years in between each one. Like Treyarch makes a Black Ops every 3 years.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty comes out every year because they have other studios that make the other ones.
Also, I'd like to remind all you guys that Diablo is one of the only games that Blizzard has that has no microtransactions. So it's not sustaining any income. Yet. Well, it did in the real money auction house.
No, it had
it was that they made a cut off of every sale, so they made a lot of money in the beginning, but then they took it out. So they took out something that was making them money so that a game would be a better game, which shows that they're willing to, they're not as greedy as people think. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I love Blizzard. Don't get me wrong. I'm like heart to heart when it comes to Blizzard. Like I didn't really enjoy World of Warcraft, but I love the like policy as a company, and I love like games they make like Diablo, Overwatch, and I really like how they handle the microtransactions here, because it always seems to be based around the player and like how does the player react to this and stuff like that. Like Overwatch is the biggest criminal in my eyes, because even though it wasn't the first, it was definitely the one that popularized loot boxes. But even then, it's like we the developers listen to the fans and like redesign the loot boxes based around that. So even though it is a microtransaction, it's always in the player favor.
Microtransactions in these popular games, it's a fucking balance between reward and how much things cost. So like, what's the cost reward? If I'm spending, like Hearthstone is the worst. You can spend $200 and still not have the cards that you want, and you can spend $1,000 and still not have the cards that you want. So Hearthstone is the worst of the worst when it comes to that. But something like Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm, all the loot boxes, they're just cosmetic items. They're fun things to have, but it doesn't change how much damage you do. It doesn't change whether you can win or lose a game, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, like that's far. I've never really been a much of a Hearthstone player. I actually completely forgot that was a Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, the Kriparian, which is the top Hearthstone streamer, every time a expansion drops, he buys like 1,000 packs and he opens them on stream, and like 50,000 people watch him. And so he bought the equivalent of, it was given to him for free by Amazon, but they gave him the equivalent of like $1,000 worth of packs, and he opened them all on stream, and then he showed everyone like there's still some cards that I didn't get. I needed to craft them, and like I didn't get what I wanted exactly. So it just shows you like that some games do it poorly and some games do it well. And Diablo is one of the games that didn't do it at all. You know, they took it out completely, so it wasn't sustaining them any money. And here we are today. Maybe Diablo 4 will have more microtransactions. Maybe that's their fucking answer. Who knows?
I think if people, because gamers can be so entitled sometimes, if people expect constant updates and stuff like that, more content to come down the pipeline, all this kind of stuff, you should expect there to be microtransactions. If you're expecting the game to be serviced, with regular content, you should expect there to be microtransactions.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
Like, I don't have a problem with microtransactions personally. The only time I've had a problem with it was in, like, I don't know if anyone's played For Honor,
Yeah,
but
I have.
because Hearthstone, you can kind of justify the reason why they do their microtransactions because it's a card game. Like, if you wanted to get into Might and Magic, like right now, you'd have to buy stacks of cards and just packs and just keep opening them up, unless you go to specialty stores where you got to pay like $80 to $100 for the card you want or whatever. Like, you have to build and
sorry to interrupt. Isn't For Honor EA? It is, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, since it's a card game, you can kind of justify the reason why they do it because it's like you buy card packs, you open them up. For Honor did one of the worst things I've ever seen is they give you the game, you pay, well, for me it was $80 Canadian, already a lot of money.
Oh, bud.
And then fuck bud. And then and then once you get into the game, you have to buy all of your heroes with steel. And they're not cheap. They're not like 100 steel each. They're like upwards of 15,000. And that's like hundreds of hours of grinding just to get like one or two characters. And then if you want to buy it, it's like $20 to $30 per character if you want to buy the steel. It's ridiculous. And like, I get that they need to make money, but like paying for characters that are very strong, like when they first come out, it's not fair to the consumer. Like, it should have just been cosmetic items. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. And correction, it is Ubisoft that does For Honor. But
sorry.
I was gonna say Ubisoft are famous for our
well, that's the thing. Like,
changing loot boxes.
it shows you the difference between Blizzard and other companies. Blizzard does loot boxes one way. EA with Star Wars Battlefront 2, you saw it. I mean, it wasn't like they started doing it at Star Wars Battlefront 2. That was like their 8th, 9th, 10th game that had pay-to-win mechanics. So it just shows you what's different, in these companies. So Blizzard, I feel like people are a little too hard on them, especially Diablo fans right now. They're not getting a lot of love. So trying to bring it back full circle.
Right. Diablo fans didn't get love for 12 years, people.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it's like, that shouldn't be okay, though. It shouldn't be 12 years till the next Diablo game. That's not okay either. I will admit to that. But I do also think that people are not being fair to Blizzard right now because they always fucking deliver, man. Tell me a Blizzard game that didn't fucking deliver, dude. And
eventually. Like, Diablo 3 was rough at first.
It was
like,
rough.
I love Diablo 3. It's a great game.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. They strive for not just greatness, but being the greatest, the best in the industry.
Like, I will give one thing to Blizzard, like, in closing. As you say, they always try, like, if they don't appease the player the first time around, they will amend it.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the only companies I can think of that will actively try and push for, like, player satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. And like some people are saying, Overwatch didn't deliver for me or XYZ game didn't. But for a lot of people out there, it's the greatest thing that they've ever seen. And I've seen
it delivered enough for there to be a big fan base.
Exactly. There's enough people for it. I don't like Overwatch personally either, but I can recognize that it is a great game because of all the people that play it. If millions of people play it, it's a great game.
Oh yeah. We shouldn't talk about Overwatch because I know every single tidbit of lore. Like, I am a hardcore fan, even outside of the game itself, even for like the pro scene of it.
Okay, well then we're gonna have you on as a guest in the future to tell us about Overwatch stuff.
Oh god.
Oh, excellent.
Hell yeah.
What's the next news?
Because we bashed on Overwatch League a lot on this podcast.
So you should. It's fucking awful.
Alright, let's go next piece of
There's a couple of good guys, virtue signaling their life away. So stay woke, stay fresh,